What's up, what's going on? Today what we're going to talk about is some Avatar The Last AirBender. Now I don't have a whole lot of time, I only got 5 minutes, but what we're going to get into is 3 things for us to focus on. One of the main 3 things from Avatar is there's a lot of gender themes. That involves sexism and a lot of gender roles. The second thing has to do with class. We're going to talk about poverty, governmental oppression. The third thing we're going to talk about is spirituality, kind of the balance that the Avatar brings to the world and the balance of the 4 different elements. And also that within that, kind of the battle between good and evil that's represented between the Fire Lord and Aang as the Avatar. The Last Airbender is about a young airbending monk that finds out that he's the Avatar at 12 years old and runs away because he doesn't want to face the responsibilities of saving the world. And as a result, the Fire Lord takes over the entire world and starts oppressing all the other nations. Aang, the little 12-year-old boy, reappears to save the world. Along the way, he faces a lot of problems. Prince Zuko, his sister Azula, the Fire Nation itself, and he has to overcome them while also mastering the 4 elements. Now getting into one of our major topics, we're doing sexism first. So gender stereotypes. There are a lot of gender stereotypes in Avatar The Last Airbender if you pay attention, specifically from the character of Sokka. And one of the first instances where we see Sokka bringing sexism to the table in the show is when they're aboard Appa and you see Katara knitting one of her clothing. He says that women are supposed to be knitting and doing that stuff and men do the type of battling types of things. You'll see it right here.
You need to give girls space when they do their sewing.
What does me being a girl have to do with sewing?
Simple. Girls are better at fixing pants than guys, and guys are better at hunting and fighting and stuff like that.
Of course, we all know that traditional gender stereotypes are very limiting and kind of dated in today's society, therefore being condescending to women, all that kind of bad stuff. Another instance where Sokka is kind of seen taking on these sort of traditional gender roles is when we see him meet the Kyoshi Warriors. Now, the Kyoshi Warriors are a very strong group of women that defend Kyoshi Island. He kind of berates them and talks about they're women, they can't be fighters, all this type of things. What happens here is basically that the gender stereotypes that Sokka tries to enforce and believes in kind of get exposed, and he gets embarrassed in front of all the girls. 1 tier for my boy Sokka. Of course, there are a lot of very powerful female characters without the show. You know, Katara, very capable waterbender within her right, never backs down from a challenge, always looking to help people. Toph, we just mentioned, one of the best earthbenders on the world, learns how to metal bend, fought in Rumble Mania 6, taught the Avatar earthbending, all these types of things. And then of course, probably the biggest example of this anti-feminine type character is Azula, who is sort of the psychotic, super egomaniac type character that decides to just destroy everyone in her path and all of her friends to become as powerful as she can. Ultimately ends up destroying her. Bad for her, but dope character nonetheless. Moving into our second topic, kind of dealing with class. In season 2 of Avatar The Last Airbender, we get a lot of scenes of dealing with sort of poverty things. The Earth Kingdom has the very upper echelon, upper class, and then the lowest of the low, poor refugees kind of from other nations, and you kind of see that here. Government oppression is kind of a huge theme throughout the whole show. As I mentioned before, the Fire Nation is kind of responsible for taking over the whole world, and as a result they build colonies and kind of oppress and abuse all the other nations and the people within those nations in order to keep gaining their power. One example of this you can see in an episode where this woman of a young earthbender is seen describing how they come, abuse the taxes, take more money from them in order to benefit the Fire Nation.
The tax just doubled, and we wouldn't want an accident, would we?
Our third topic of the day is spirituality. Spirituality is a huge subject throughout the entire series of Avatar The Last Airbender. The Avatar themselves is the balancer between the real living world and the spirit realm. They're the only person that has the ability to wield 4 different bending abilities: air, fire, water, and earth. One example you see of this sort of balanced good versus evil theme in the show is when Aang refuses to kill the Fire Lord even though everyone's telling them that he has to do so, and he learns how to take away the firebender's ability to firebend and hurt anyone ever again. There he was able to keep intact with his sort of goodness that he gets from the air temple airbender nomads of not killing and all life is sacred, but he's also able to protect the world and save them from the Fire Nation tyranny of the Fire Lord and restore balance to the world. I hope you guys really appreciated my quick little rundown of Avatar The Last Airbender and some of the quick themes. Was able to rewatch the series, grew up on it, watching it my whole time kind of growing up and everything. Leave a like and subscribe, and if you haven't already seen the series, I hope I've inspired you to go watch it.